Okay, so some prep work is going to be slicing the zucchini so they look like strips like that. You don't have to peel your zucchini. You can leave the skin on. I like to peel it off. And in order to slice it, you'll cut both sides so it's flat. Make sure you have a sharp knife and you'll be slicing the zucchini in slices. And if any piece looks thick, you'll just slice it once more. And also for the mushrooms, we're going to be using portobello mushrooms. They've been washed and they've been drained and dried. And you're just going to slice those portobello mushrooms into nice little slices. Hi, my name is Valerie. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be making a ziti/lasagna vegetable and meat mix. You can pick whether you want to make it vegetable and meat, just vegetables, or just meat. You choose. So I started boiling water and I'm going to be adding salt. Salted water always helps that pasta cook quickly. You want to choose a ziti or a penne. That's what we're going to be using today. That's our favorite. Also for your pasta, you'll need a jar of sauce, a 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese, and as I mentioned earlier, salt. In this pan, I have the oil heated and ready. We're going to be using a ground turkey. You can choose ground lean beef, ground chicken. It's up to you. We're also going to be using 4 cloves of garlic already diced, some adobo seasoning, and a sofrito because we don't like our onion texture in our meat, so we're going to be using that instead of onions. But feel free to use onions. And you want to break up the meat a little bit. Again, you can choose whether you want to use ground beef, if you want to use ground chicken or ground turkey. I'm using ground turkey today. Break that up. I'm also going to sprinkle some salt in my meat. You can sprinkle pepper if you like. And I'm going to sprinkle those 4 cloves of diced garlic. If you want to use onions, chopped onions, that's fine. My kids don't like the texture of the onions, and that's why I'm going to be using the sofrito mix, which has onions already diced in there. And in the meantime, your water is boiling. Again, you can use a ziti or a penne. And I've put vegetable oil. You don't want to cook your meat in an olive oil. You can use a canola oil or a vegetable oil. Olive oil is used for the end for topping dishes, not for cooking in it. It's not meant to be cooked. And I'll be putting about a teaspoon of that sofrito. I'm going to disperse it around the mix. And this was the sofrito. And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of adobo seasoning to flavor that meat. All right, so in the meantime, the meat's going to cook. We'll add in our pasta and we'll see you in a bit. So while my ground meat is cooking and my pasta is boiling, that's going to take about 10 minutes. I have already sliced my zucchini and I have already sliced my mushrooms. I prepped 1 package of mozzarella cheese. and about half a cup of Parmesan or Pecorino. You can pick. I like to use grated Pecorino Romano cheese, but you can pick Parmesan or Pecorino. And that we'll be using for our toppings once the meat and pasta and sauce has cooked. And we're also going to be adding these vegetables. If you don't like zucchini or mushrooms, you don't have to add it. Okay, so it's really important to know that you don't want to overcook your pasta because it's going to be cooking in an oven for about 30 minutes. So I've cooked my penne at half the time. It's set to cook for 12 minutes. I'm going to cook my penne for 6 minutes, and I'm straining that. So you don't want to overcook it because it will be cooking in an oven. I'm pouring it back in my pan. I have preheated my oven at 350. The ZD is going to cook for about 30 minutes. And in here, I'm going to add a little bit of my sauce mixture. The meat mixture. Oops. I'm going to mix that a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of the ricotta mixture. All in the same pan. Just mix that up. So that ricotta is going to get really creamy. And it's really helpful when it's all in the same pan. And I'm going to add the remaining mixture of the meats, which the meat was cooking for about 10-15 minutes, about the same time it took to boil the pasta water and cook the water. And I'm going to add, again, the ricotta mixture. I'm going to add that all in there. This is about a 15-ounce container. And I'm going to add, you can pick any store-bought sauce that you like. Today I'm going with a Parmesan and Pecorino sauce because those are the two cheeses that I'm actually going to be putting in there. And you want to make sure you mix that. Just put that on the side here. So you want to mix your ziti for your penne, your sauce, your ricotta cheese, your ground meat, whichever meat you've chosen. If you're making a vegetable portion, you wouldn't be adding your ground meat, obviously. All right. So now what we'll be doing is in this pan, I just put a little bit of sauce on the bottom of that. And I'm going to be putting some of my zucchini, which is why it kind of looks like lasagna, because you can make a lasagna with just zucchini strips. And these zucchini will cook in the oven. And I'm going to put some of the mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you don't have to put this portion. If you're just using vegetables, then you would be using any kind of vegetables that you like. So we're going to put that in. And now we're going to pour that delicious pasta cheesy mixture. And this mixture has the meat in it and the sauce and the cheese. If you had no meat, you'd have all these vegetables there. And this is going to feed at least 6 to 8 people for sure. Now I'm going to pause there. And I'm going to add that fresh mozzarella mixture. You don't want to use all of it because you want some for the top portion. And who doesn't love creamy cheese? And we're also gonna add some of that grated cheese. And we're gonna add some more of those mushrooms. And if you don't like mushrooms, you obviously wouldn't be putting those in. And then that final layer of pasta. Now, if you notice, my sauce is orange. If you like to add more sauce, you can. We like a light sauce. I mean, obviously the ricotta made the sauce turn orange, but we like a light sauce in my house. But you can feel free to add more sauce. You want to make that flat. And then I'm gonna top those remaining zucchini pieces on top. That's why I'm kind of calling it a lasagna / ziti, because I am using those zucchini strips on top. And then I have the remainder fresh mozzarella, which is gonna melt. And if you wanted to top this zucchini with another additional layer of sauce, you could. I don't like a lot of sauce because I'm gonna be getting it under with the pasta, so I'm okay with that. All that delicious cheese. And then I'm gonna just, because I didn't use sauce on my zucchini, I'm gonna top it with olive oil. That's when I'll be using my olive oil. So that when it's baking in the oven, the zucchini is gonna cook with the olive oil. And now my oven is at 350. I'm gonna toss this in for about 30 minutes. All right, so our ziti with zucchini lasagna strips is all cooked and ready to go. We're gonna plate that for you. I always like to use a sharp knife to get a nice little square. And this could definitely serve at least 4 to 8 people. Look how creamy, delicious it is inside. You have your mushrooms, your penne, your zucchini, and your ground meat. Perfect. Creamy, delicious. I hope you and your family enjoy this meal. Bye.